welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new, and cheers to you guys. And cheers to this video. This is gonna be a long one. For about 2 years now, I have not properly organized or cleaned my bookshelf. I just kept piling up books as I read them, and I have a book collection. It's like 450 books. I don't know exactly. We will count them together. And I think that today is the day. Today is the day when I'm actually going to get this done. I have my tea. I have 3 fully charged batteries because this is going to take a long time. I have my Kindle. And I have you guys, so I say let's just get to it. I am going to put in an audiobook, and I am listening to a Lisa Kleypas audiobook, and I know that it was one of you, I am going to put this on the screen, but it was one of you who actually recommended Lisa Kleypas to me when I was looking for, like, you know, historical romance books similar to Tessa Dare. And thank you. Thank you so much. I am reading the Wallflower series and I am on book 3. Thank you so much. I love you so much for recommending Lisa Kleypas to me. But now let's just get to organizing the shelves. I will explain everything about how I want to organize my, well, reading nook really, because it's not just about my shelf, but I will explain everything about it later as we organize the books. So, phase 1. Let's remove every single book from this bookshelf. I'm going up there to the top shelf. Those are my non-fiction books. I cannot reach them. I need a little bit of help to actually take those books down. We also need to take care of the plants today. Look at this book. Look how beautiful this book is. I need the chair back. I need the chair back because I'm running out of space. I need to use this to store some books on it. It's really not that bad. Honestly, I thought it would be much worse, but it's really not that bad, and there are no spider webs at all. I found my gym cards, my upper body and lower body workout, all the reps and the workout themselves that I need to do, and also my workout schedule for July. Congratulations! Congratulations guys, because we have reached the second phase in today's video, which is basically cleaning and organizing and categorizing the books themselves, because everything is going back on the bookshelf by genre. Now, I am somebody who reads a lot of genre: fiction, non-fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, romance, thrillers, horror, historical fiction, historical romance. Oh my god, like I genuinely read everything, and sometimes I don't remember the title of the books or the cover of the books. the author of the books, so it just doesn't make sense to organize them alphabetically or even like, you know, by color, by cover color, to make a rainbow bookshelf. That doesn't make any sense to me, the way I read and the way I like to organize my space and my books. So by genre it is. Now, as I was removing the books, I already started like grouping them together. Those are all the non-fiction books. Here are most of my fantasy. Here, romance and thriller and horror, and my TBR card, and the favorites are down there. So I already have kinda the groups, but it's not enough. We need to further organize them, because here is one pro tip, guys. If you are somebody who has like a gigantic book collection, and if you ever want to reorganize them, do not organize the books as you put them back on the bookshelf. It's gonna be a fail. I had done that before and it was a fail. It took me 2-3 days to organize my bookshelves and I didn't like the end result. So that is what I learned. Organize the books by genre or by whatever you want to before you start putting them back on the shelf. All right, let's just get to organizing the books. Okay, we're good. Okay guys, we are ready to enter phase 3, which is putting the books back on the shelf and then organizing the shelf itself a little bit. And I want to start with the fantasy books, so everything just fantasy romance, and also all kinds of like retellings that I have, Greek and Indian and Norse, everything. I want all of those books, technically 3 huge piles, 3.5 huge piles of books to fit into this shelf, because I really want this middle shelf to be my fantasy bookshelf, because I reach for my fantasy book quite often. So this is where I want to put them. And also when I film in front of my bookshelf, that I basically want the fantasy books on display, because some of my favorite covers are fantasy book covers and I would like to feature them a little bit. I'm just thinking about how to do it, because probably you guys can tell that the shelves are incredibly high. I love this bookshelf. I love the combination of the wood and also the iron, cast iron. I think I love it, and I don't want to change this bookshelf, but probably you can see that the height of the individual shelves is incredibly high. And when I just take like a normal size book, like, you know, I cannot necessarily put them like this, because then I'll have no space for all the books that I have. So I have to be smart with how I organize the books. And also I really like to use the books themselves as bookends. So first, I think that's what I'm going to do. I will set up the ends of the shelves and then we start organizing the rest of the books. Oh, I'm just gonna put the entire Throne of Glass series here. This is actually really tough, guys, because one, I have insane amount of books and I'm just afraid that it's not going to fit. That's one. But also, I feel like that I need to separate the different books in the series, because like for example the third Crescent City book and the second Emily Wilde book, that's in another pile because I read them this year, right? And I don't necessarily want to put it on the shelf just now. I'm going to do that in January. So I will definitely have to separate the different series, book series. This? Is that an English word? I don't know. Well, now it is. Kurisa broadband, Kurisa broadband. Okay, the fantasy shelf is done for now. I'm not saying that I'm 100% happy with it, but for now it will do. I want to see how all the other shelves look like, and I want to see also how it looks like with the decoration, because I think that the decoration will help with the gaps and such. So we'll see. It's definitely very functional. Like, you know, the books that I used as bookends, they are very heavy books, so they actually hold all the other books on the shelf. I have these gaps. I need the gaps because I will eventually fill these gaps with books because I don't have space for another bookshelf. So I think that it's okay and it's functional. So next, what we're going to do is I think the romance books and also the nonfiction, because I want to put those books back to where they originally were. Like, this is where I kept my romance books. I don't want to change that. And also the nonfiction, I want to put the nonfiction back there because that shelf is just so up there. It's only functional and it only makes sense if I put the nonfiction books up there. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so the idea is the same. I'm going to grab the books that I didn't really like, and I am going to use those ones as bookends. So let's just do that first. All right, this is done. Now let's continue with all the other books. And I want to organize them by author. First, the contemporary romance. Oh, I feel like that my system is already failing. I have Emily Henry here, Talia Hibbert, adult, young adult, and then Rachel Lynn Solomon, and then some other books from other authors. But like, for example, this is an Angie Hockman book, and I have another Angie Hockman here, but this one I liked, this one I didn't really, so that's why I separated them. But the system I'm trying to build is kind of failing. Next is some alien smut. Yeah, that's next. And also some historical romance. Oh my god, guys, when I will actually put all the Tessa Dare and now Lisa Kleypas books that I read this year on this shelf, January is gonna be hard. When I have to reorganize this again, with like all that like 100 books that currently sitting in that corner, oh my god, this is gonna be hard. But anyways, first focus on this historical romance here. Okay, this is what I anticipated, that all the different romance books that I have, contemporary, historical, sci-fi, whatever, they are going to take up this part of the bookshelf, and I want to put the horror and the thrillers on this side because I am afraid of some of my horror books, and usually I hide them behind the little armchair sofa thingy that I have. So simply that's why I am going to put them in that corner. I moved to my armchair, guys, because I can already feel this little project in my back. I've been like organizing, lifting, carrying books for like 3 hours now, and my back already hurts. So I'm sitting in the armchair, and now let's just do this. Oh, look what I did to Bunny. I am like really scared of these 4 books, so these are going on the shelf like this, spine facing towards the wall. Yeah. Okay, next is definitely nonfiction. We are going up there. The the top shelf, and that is why it was a good decision to set up the romance and the thriller books first, because now I have my armchair free, so I can climb on top of it and reach the top shelf. Okay guys, this is the last shelf on the bookshelf. We're not done yet. No, not done yet. And this shelf is going to be easily the most difficult ones because it's like for fiction, contemporary fiction, literary fiction, historical fiction, and sci-fi. The books have to fit, they have to fit because I don't have more space. I already put the classics there. As you can see, I don't read that many classics. This is something that I should rectify in the future. But anyway, they are already there, and I kind of angled them a little bit, you know, just to change up the scene. And now, oh my, let's just get to all the fiction and the sci-fi. I'm going to start with the sci-fi. I want the sci-fi to be on that end of the shelf. I want to start setting up the historical fiction books. I think I'm gonna start with Bonnie Garma's there, and then some more hardback historical fiction, and then even more historical fiction. But how to do this? I'm gonna put Maggie O'Farrell here. And then next, The Miniaturist. Oh my god, guys, look at that cover. I mean, wow. It's such a shame that I cannot display some of the covers. Not yet. One day, when I have like 5 bookshelves, I will. And then, basically, 3 more historical fictions, and that is going into sci-fi. I don't think I will be able to display this beautiful book. I think I'm going to put this with fantasy though, because it is kind of like a fairy tale retelling. All right, now let's continue with my favorites shelf. My favorite book I've ever read in my life. Always goes here, not only because I want to display it like this, but also it helps covering the wires. Okay, first things first, this little Buddha, this belongs to my mom, but she accidentally left it in my apartment and I am not giving it back to her. So this is going on the bookshelf right next to the sci-fi books. And then this shell that I actually got from Fiji. I love it. It's coming here. Like, I'm going to put it here. Okay, I really like this little corner. All right, next. My gigantic rose quartz. I am going to put this with the romance books because rose quartz, it's all about love. This little plant, this was also made by my mom, and she specifically made it for my bookshelf, so it's going here. All right, where to put this little neuron superhero? It's so cute with its little neurotransmitter. I have no idea what this is. Probably serotonin. Let's say it's serotonin. Or dopamine? I have no idea. Something that makes you happy. Something that releases in your brain when you read. I have no idea. I'm just going to put this here. We're done. We're done. Well, I am definitely done. Obviously, I will very heavily edit this video, but currently I have, I don't know, like 6-7 hours long footage to work with because this took 6 or 7 hours. I don't know exactly. And look, I love my books. I love my books, but there is a limit to how many books I can handle, and I counted. And including everything, read and unread books, English, Hungarian, like all the books, I have 483 books, and this has been a fantastic workout. Tomorrow, in my lower back, I will feel all the effort that I put in today. But again, I am super happy that I did it. Everything just looks so nice and clean and organized. I wonder how long it's actually going to stay like this. I am planning to film a proper bookshelf tour video in the upcoming weeks, so if it is something that you're interested in, then stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. But I want to give you just a quick run through so that you can see the fruit of our hard work. Come a little bit closer. Okay, I think that we should start with the big bookshelf because this is definitely the star when it comes to my little reading corner. And up there on the tippity top, as we discussed, are my nonfiction books, very neatly and nicely organized and categorized. And my little plant there in the corner that just absolutely adores that place. All right, the second shelf is basically my collection of YA fiction, contemporary fiction, and literary fiction, going into historical fiction books that I absolutely adore. I adore that genre. And then right next to the historical fiction, I have all my science fiction books. My little Buddha from my mom, the shell that I got from Fiji, and right next to it I have a little bit of jungle situation going on with my classics. I think I definitely need to read more classics. This should be a reading goal for 2025. All right, and then my favorite shelf because it contains my favorite genre, fantasy. So here you can see a collection of fantasy books that are not exactly my favorite. So again, I use them as bookends because I don't really see myself reaching for these books very often. And then we go into fantasy romance. And of course, we cannot have fantasy romance without Carissa Broadbent, without Sarah J. Maas, the Crescent City series, Throne of Glass, and then ACOTAR. Well, half of ACOTAR because the other half is on my favorites shelf. And then also Danielle L. Jensen. I really like her. And then we have Margaret Rogerson books. I freaking adore her. D. Kingfisher books. I freaking adore her. And then we basically go into all these different kinds of retellings, Indian and then Greek myth retellings. If you have not read any books by Stephen Fry, please try his books. You are not going to regret it. On top of my little Greek myth collection, I have Foxy. This is a little fox. It was a DIY painting kit that I did. I painted her. So she's sitting here watching over my books. And then here we have a couple of more Greek myth retellings and my Jennifer L. Armentrout books that again basically serve as bookends. These books are insanely heavy, so you know they can hold a hardback That's how heavy they are. Yeah, so this is my little fantasy shelf. And then the next shelf is a collection of romance, contemporary romance, historical romance, sci-fi romance, or alien smut, whatever you want to call it, and my gigantic rose quartz. Probably many of you know that rose quartz is the gemstone for love and connection, so I thought that, hey, this is the perfect spot to put this, right? And then right next to the romance section we have the mystery, the thrillers, and the horror books. These 4 horror books, they scared me out of my mind. So again, the spine is facing the wall, not outwards, because I don't want to remember these books. And then a couple of thrillers and mystery books there serving as bookends. And I put these here because my little armchair that I have here, look at that beautiful pillow done by my mom for me, for my little reading nook. This basically covers some of these scary horror books. So in my mind, this works perfectly. And the bottom shelf there, that's my cookbook collection. And I know that many people are not really interested in cookbooks. If you guys are interested in cookbooks, then let me know and maybe I can include a couple of them in my upcoming videos, but I don't really want to talk about them in detail. But they are so insanely heavy that I really like to keep them on the bottom shelf because they stabilize the bookshelf very nicely. All right, next is basically a gigantic pile of books. These are all the books that I've already read in 2024. There you go. I want to keep them separately. I don't think I will put them on the bookshelf till actually January, when I will probably need to reorganize the bookshelf to, fit this many books. For now, I want to keep them separately. And this little plant here, again, this is something that was crocheted for me by my mom as a decoration specifically for my bookshelves. All right, we're next to this pile of books. We have the fireplace. It is a mock fireplace, so don't worry guys, it's all safe. And then next to it, I have a collection of Hungarian classics and some very, very old Hungarian books and poetry collections that basically belong to my family, but nobody in my family is a reader, so they just gave me all the books. It's fine. I can keep them and I can take care of them. And then next to it, in this little basket, I have again a blanket that was knitted for me by my mom. I also have this thing because I want to get into crocheting. I cannot crochet, I cannot knit, but I want to learn. So for now, I'm just going to keep it here. And my book sleeves that again was made for me by my mom. For Kindle, I don't have a Kindle, but I am planning to buy one. So she already made those. And then I have all these different book sleeves for hardback books and also for paperback books. My mom is really, really talented when it comes to these things. And basically all my decorations and all my bookish accessories are made by my mom. All right, and here you guys, on my mantle, you can basically see some of my favorite books. So quickly I will walk you through how it's organized. Well, we start out with some contemporary fiction and literary fiction. I have already talked about some of these books. I will link one of my favorites video in the description box if you want to check that out. And then we have 2 Hungarian classics here that I absolutely adore. These are my favorites. 2 English classics here. Oh my god, this blew my mind. Some non-fiction books, Grady Hendrix, of course. I really adore these 2 of his books. 1 Tesso there, but I will put more Tesso there to this bookshelf. And then some sci-fi. I adore Becky Chambers. She is probably my favorite sci-fi author. And of course, Madeline Miller. And here are two of my Avatar books. My favorite is the very first book. That's the book that I love the most, but also Court of Silver Flames. I absolutely adored it. And then I have a couple of other fantasy and fantasy romance books that I adore. If you have not read the War of Lost Heart series by Carissa Broadbent or Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher and you love fantasy romance, then please try these. Next is a little mug, Foxy. Just in case it's not clear, guys, I adore foxes. I absolutely adore them, and I don't like clutter, especially not on my bookshelf, but every single one of these objects actually mean a lot to me. And Lumiere, this little foxy mug, he's the one who's watching over my bookmarks. And again, I don't know if you can tell, but most of my bookmarks are handmade, and these were again made by my mom for me. And then there you can see, just like I said, my favorite book of all times, The Wanderer by Peter von den Ende. And then next to it, I have the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I am in love with this cover. Probably this is the most beautiful book, the most beautiful cover that I own. And then behind this book, we can see a little art, again, made by my mom. I absolutely adore tulips, and she basically made, embroidered, crocheted, I'm not sure, that little painting for me, so I have to display that on the mantle, no questions asked. And I also have a tiny book collection here by the window, because these are the books that I want to include in upcoming vlogs. So I basically put them separately so I don't forget to talk about these books in the upcoming videos. And let's not forget about my TBR card that is right next to my little armchair. I think that this will be its permanent space. Now, my TBR card is always messy. I try to organize it and kind of decorate it with this little plant as much as I could, and I think ultimately I did a good job, but this is always messy. And right next to my TBR cart, I have a huge pile of books that you can see I am planning to unhaul and take to little free libraries. Well, this is it, guys. We are done. I cannot believe it, but we are done with this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit share, like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you soon in an upcoming video. Bye!